What do you say? After we record, go out, beer, fridge is stocked. It's loaded. I got some hard seltz in there.
That sounds cherry.
Cherry, right? Sounds cherry? That's cherry.
Oh, goo. What a time to be alive. Let's think, what? 5 years ago, I Think You Should Leave didn't even exist, right? Was it 5? I don't know. We were not really privy to the Tim Robinson style of comedy. Of course, he was on SNL as a featured guy for a couple of years. He was in the writer's room. He came out with the Detroiters, I think 2017. Vastly underappreciated. I had heard of it, never seen it. Thank God to I Think You Should Leave, and thank God that Andrew DeYoung, I think, probably wrote this movie with Tim Robinson in mind. And obviously, Tim Robinson would say yes to starring in a feature film. But it's incredible that Tim Robinson does not have a writing credit on this movie, which is crazy to me because there's obviously a lot of improv going on. Wow, what a time to be alive.
That humor is his exact style.
Yeah.
It's cherry. It's cherry. Mac, this movie also is about male companionship, making friends past the age of 30, past the age of 40. I want to ask you, how many new friends have you made since turning 30?
That's a great question. Not many. Not many. The only way I make new friends now is via work. Like we hire a new guy or something, or gal.
And they're forced to be your friend.
Or like a golf friend. Golfed with them a couple times now, we're boys sort of thing. Like I'm not really making new friends. I don't know if anyone is these days once you're 30-aught, 40-aught, something. And that's what, like, this of course is one I Think You Should Leave sketch 100 minutes long. But also there's actually a pretty good and relatable underlying story to this whole thing, which is like, it is, I think, more of a male than a female thing because males are more afraid to be honest with themselves. Just like having honest friendships and like having a hang, could go a long way.
I would say outside of this podcast, like if we didn't do this, I would have very little friends in general.
Yeah, that's why Mac and Goo have been bringing you friendships since 2016. And in large part because it's hard to make friends when you're an adult, so you get podcasts.
Well, I've retained 2 friends from childhood. I'm going to count you as 2.5 because we're also coworkers now.
Sure.
So if it weren't for you guys, I'd have my wife and my son. That's the point of having a son. He's a built-in friend.
One goo, 3 yeah. Goo. Jaws 3. Goo. King of Queens. Goo. Meryl Streep. Entertainment.
I'm Goo.
And I am Mac.
And the thought of someone picking up smoking beyond the age of 13 makes me laugh.
Oh, well, my sister's not going to appreciate this story. She decided she might pick up smoking last couple of months. So on Easter,
it was a well thought out plan of like, you know what? Not in my life enough.
There's some life things going on, and she essentially, when my grandmother passed, she had a lot of packs of cigarettes left over. So my sister
you can't let those go to waste. I get it now. Okay,
that was her excuse. But everyone knows me that like I hate smoking cigarettes. Smoke anything else you want, smoking cigarettes. So no one in the family would tell me, and then she finally told me on Easter, and I was like so upset with her. So she got up to use the bathroom, and I went into her purse and threw her cigarettes in the fire.
I've made a life decision. I've decided that now, at the age of 32, I am going to start smoking.
Like, if you started smoking at 13 because you thought it was cool and you couldn't quit it, so be it. Nothing we can do about it now. If you start smoking in your 30s, what are we doing?
Although I was talking to a coworker last week, and he said to me, I was in a parking lot the other day, and I saw this guy leaning up against his car and having a cigarette. And I said to myself, fuck, that's cool. I get it.
If you like being isolated, If you like being outside in the middle of winter, smoking cigarettes is for you.
Are we an anti-smoking podcast?
Goo! Mac
Yes.
and Goo bring you friendship. Quite literally, this week, we are bringing you Friendship, the movie, an A24 production starring two of our favorite people on the planet, Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd. Last week, Goo, this opened up in New York and LA, limited release, only 6 theaters, and it made $451,000. That's one of the best limited
That's not
releases.
bad.
One of
That's
the
not
best.
bad.
Yep, one of the best limited releases ever on a per theater basis on limited release. Last year, only Anora and Kindness topped it, and it's the 8th best ever for A24. It is opening up in Boston and other select major cities this week. It opens up nationwide next week, which it will be competing with Mission Impossible, but two drastically different audiences there.
Yeah.
Goo, I'm very intrigued as to how well this will do at the box office.
I am so curious. First off, not only at the box office, but when normal people see this.
Yeah, right. Like you're gonna have the Tim Robinson diehards. I think you should leave diehards, but we have never really been able to quantify how many there are.
Yeah.
And the box office on this is really gonna give us like a good number
Well,
as to how many
and
there
I'll get
are.
into this when we get to the hot dogs and stuff, but this movie, it feels like it's made for you. Like it's made for me. Like they made a movie that's only for me.
If you're a male in their 30s or 40s and are seeking friendship and listen to podcasts, this movie is quite literally for you.
It is.
And on top of the not being able to really quantify how big the Tim Robinson audience is, it is an R-rated comedy, which those don't always play well.
Mhm.
But this has been getting hype for months and months and months now. The critic scores after a couple festival runs have been very high. So I think this might have just the right combination. You know, it's not going to make 100 million, but it might make 50 million at the box office, you know, maybe 40. Like this has a chance to do really, really well.
And as you watch the movie, like Max said, it wasn't written by Robinson, but more than half of the jokes and half of the comedy isn't funny unless Robinson is delivering the line.
He just has a way of, you know, the certain inflections he puts on certain words and his facial features and how he uses them and utilizes them. It's so unique, and there's just no one else like it on the planet doing that.
Is he the best swearer of all time?
He might be. He's in the conversation for it. And even like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Just the way he said, like the part, the hell, like that part
He
is
makes
so
a
good.
one-syllable word into 2 syllables.
Yeah. And obviously, like, if you're not a fan of I Think You Should Leave, you know, you're not going to like this movie.
You're not going to, even my wife, who is a fan of the show and likes watching one episode at a time. So 3 sketches that are roughly 6 to 7 minutes long. I think this was too long for her.
I did hear her cackle a couple times behind me in the theater. She did.
Do you think that she lied to me about this movie? She secretly loves it, but didn't want to admit it to me?
A little peek behind the curtain for me, Goo. I brought a friend to the screening. We both enjoyed the shit out of it. Like it was exactly our style. There's a couple moments in this movie that I couldn't stop laughing for like a minute. Like I know I missed a couple more jokes because I was giggling under my breath and trying not to distract other people.
There were 3-ish scenes / jokes that I had to watch through my fingers like this because it had gotten so cringy / awkward on purpose. That's Robinson's style.
Yeah.
And then I went with Billy D, and he's like, I have to see it again. I also want to see it again. But in the 3 days since seeing it, I have just been like random jokes have popped in my mind from the movie, and I've just been laughing to myself.
And they do a good. So sometimes, and I Think You Should Leave, the character they're showing you is not that believable as an everyday person. They do a good job walking that line in this movie to like you you could see this happening. This is
So
a
I
real
think his
person.
coworkers are borderline.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then I would say, what is the actor that is on I Think You Should Leave that pops up for like one
Connor
or
O'Malley.
Connor O'Malley. He's in 2 scenes in this movie, and he is just an I Think You Should Leave character.
Yeah, that's very, very
That you're
true.
curious and you're like, I don't even fucking know you. I don't know where this guy came from.
Like I said, Goo, this is an R-rated comedy, runtime of 100 minutes. On Roddy T's right now, 91% from the critics. That's on 88 reviews. We do not have an audience score. Based on what we know about A24, Paul Rudd, and Tim Robinson, I'll be stunned if this isn't in the 90s. You're not going to see this movie unless you love those 3 things.
I wouldn't be surprised if critics are afraid to say they don't find it funny.
I don't know. They have liked I Think You Should Leave. I'll give them that.
I know,
much
but
credit.
I think people might be afraid to cross the Tim Robinson people.
On Metacritic is 75 for an R-rated comedy. That is through the fucking roof. So critics are telling you this is one of the best R-rated comedies ever. Not just the last 5-10 years, last 25 years of the millennium. You know, this is one of the best R-rated comedies ever. And I don't think it would crack my top 3 or 4. But the more I think about it, the rewatchability that's going to be here, this is sneaky going to creep up my list of best R-rated comedies. And because it has so many I Think You Should Leave like qualities in that the hidden jokes and the second level jokes, this is going to be insanely rewatchable.
And also for that to happen to us in our 30s, to be able to accept a movie, a comedy movie into our life and say that it is up there with some of the funniest movies ever, that is something else right there. That's like finding a new friend in your 30s. Generally, and this is for everybody, it is whatever comedies you see from the age of like 16 to 20, you're always going to say, that's the best comedy I've ever seen. It's just time and place. So much has to do with time and place.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're getting this, and Mac and I are now 36 years old, and we're willing to be like, this is up there with those comedies that we saw in those years, that's something right there.
Yeah, that says all you need to know because Goo and I were the perfect age for like the peak of the R-rated comedy, the mid 2000s, and they really
Will stuff.
Yeah, and it really hit hard and like really formed our taste for comedy and what we desire and what makes us
And we
laugh.
also saw all of the Adam Sandler, Mike Myers, Jim Carrey comedies right around that time too. They were a little earlier than us, but that's when it trickled down to us.
Yeah, and those were like the foot in the door, and then I think in the 2000s took another step. But then in the 2010s there was a lull, like there was no new ideas, you know, and we've sort of been bringing the R-rated comedy back these last few years. There's more new ideas.
Well, 2 years ago, nothing last year.
Well, sure, but I'm generalizing here. Come on, stay with me.
Shut the fuck up.
A lot of that is because the people that were raised on those original comedies are now writing and creating these movies and coming up with these ideas. And it's interesting to think, like, I'm going to have a hard time rating this against other real movies because it is really, and I Think You Should Leave sketch for 100 minutes, but in the best way possible.
They know how to wrap up the movie with a quality, I'm going to say happy ending. I'm going to say it was a happy ending.
Well, there's a moment in this movie where you're like, oh, okay, they're going with like the movie kind of ending, the cinematic ending. And you're like, you know what? This is going to work. And then there's like another 7 minutes. And you're like,
I knew there was always another foot to drop. I'm like, what are we going to do here? What is going to happen? And that's in spoilers though. I am going to go ahead and blindly, having done no research on this.
Yeah.
This is at least the best comedy since this is the end. And I would even probably go back to The Hangover.
Wow, that's a statement right there. I wish
once again, no research.
No, and the way I just talked about it, talking about like Pantheon type comedies, you know, cracking Mount Rushmore is like that's obviously I'm scrolling quickly on my Letterboxd here and see if anything from the last few years pops up. Like there are a lot of really good movies that have comedy in them.
Yes.
But
this is straight comedy,
not outright comedies.
From open to close. This is all comedy. It is all, and there's a mix of classic type jokes and comedy in there. There is a mix of super awkward, cringy comedy in there. And then there's comedy that only Robinson can pull off.
Yeah, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I think that the way this movie was written and stylized and set up for a lot of improv things this could have been funny with a lot of people. It reaches another level because of where Tim Robinson takes it.
Like, I just pulled up best comedies of the 2010s on IMDb. So this is concrete what it is.
Yeah.
Let's go to number 10, Tangled. Is it funnier than Tangled?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Is it funnier than Submarine?
What the fuck is that?
Oh, it's directed by Richard Ayoade. Nice.
Sure.
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
This is fun. And that's what I'm talking like. So Thor Ragnarok, hysterical, right?
Okay.
But not an outright comedy.
Here we go. This is a good side-by-side right here. MacGruber.
Oh, man. I think beat for beat, this is better than MacGruber.
It is, but I would say it's comparable in the fact that
it
movie,
is comparable.
It's catered to its main actor.
Yeah. MacGruber. Oh, man. Actually, the peaks might be high. This is better than MacGruber. This is. Yeah.
Hot Tub Time Machine.
That's a sneaky good one.
That
is
one,
a really good one. This is better. This is better than Grown Ups.
One or two.
Both.
You can use it as one movie if you want.
This is better.
Get him to the Greek. Are we allowed to say that anymore?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if we can.
Four Lions.
The fuck is that?
Don't question IMDb. Easy A.
Easy A was okay. It was all right.
And number one, the number one 2010 comedy, according to IMDb list, is Despicable Me. Is it better than Despicable Me?
I'll have to think about that one. I'll get back to you at the end of the podcast.
I mean, it's better than the first one. I'm not sure if it's better than Rise of Gru. I don't know why this isn't even on there. I think that Pop Star, really funny.
Yeah.
I think that 21 Jump Street. So those
21 Jump Street movies. So those are probably the last great straight out comedies, right? 21 and 22
probably should have
Jump
looked
Street.
at a different list, not IMDb.
Jump Street comedies, man.
Because
I don't know. This is close between
Yeah.
this and the Jump Street comedies. That's
Deadpool,
close.
Ted.
Yep. Ted's in the conversation.
The
This
other
is in
guy.
the conversation.
Yeah.
The other guys, that's
Horrible
2010, I
Boss is
think.
also
Yeah.
good too.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
You know what? I should have pulled up Ranker first. Let's go. I'm going to delete the part with IMDb. Bridesmaids.
Bridesmaids is very good. I don't like it as much as everyone else, but it's very good.
Neighbors.
Neighbors is decent.
Kick-Ass.
Kick-Ass isn't.
What
it is
We
a
Do in
comedy,
the
but
Shadows. The Grand Budapest
that's a good one.
Hotel.
That's a good, but again, I guess Grand Budapest Hotel is a 40 dogger for me. Go.
This is a good podcast. Let's just keep on throwing out movies and see
Point being, overall, again, spoiler free here. If you're going to see it, or if you're borderline and you're not sure, go see it. You're gonna like. If you're even thinking about seeing this movie, you're probably gonna like it. Go see it. Written and directed by Andrew DeYoung. We don't really know much about him. His previous writing credits include The Characters, which of course Tim Robinson had an episode on. That's probably the genesis of their relationship. Previous directing, he did a shit ton of TV stuff, a lot of shorts, no feature films. He did write or direct on AP Bio, Dave, Pen 15, and Our Flag Means Death. So this is a real launching pad for Andrew DeYoung too. Like R-rated comedy, as we just talked about, with would we really name legit 8 to 10 movies in the conversation? It's few and far between. You might get one a year.
And once again, it's R-rated, just comedy. It's not
right.
Comedy is not the subgenre.
Yeah.
Comedy is just, if you find this shit funny, you're gonna laugh the whole time.
Yeah, and crushing it the way he does here, both writing it. I actually think the directing is really strong in this movie too.
Oh,
he's gonna get a lot of opportunities over the next 4 or 5 years.
You could tell that it was an A24 movie because it had like that weird lens work. I liked the big open shots, and then also like you have these weird the soundtrack, the score of the movie almost kind of felt like Stranger Things.
Yeah,
right?
A little bit. It had that synth to it a little bit.
Yeah.
And they also do a good time. There are smartphones and whatnot. This feels a little timeless as well, right? You could have felt like this was early 2000s.
He didn't have his phone.
Yeah.
You do have a phone? Of course I have a fucking phone.
Synopsis.
I just at first I'm walking out and I'm like, that was really good. Was it a little too retready with I think you should leave style and jokes? No. I think it was the perfect amount, actually.
Yeah, I totally agree. Synopsis: a suburban dad falls hard for his charismatic new neighbor. It's
Yeah,
perfect, simple little
it is.
synopsis. This movie stars, and there are other characters in here, and there are other faces you're gonna know, but the only four names you really need to know: Tim Robinson as Craig, Paul Rudd as Austin, Kate Mara as Tammy, and Jack Dylan Grazer as Stephen, Tammy and Craig's son. You've seen him in a number of things, a younger actor. Gil, I must confess also,
Yes.
this was the first time I was driving to AMC Boston Common for my new apartment. Timing threw me all off. It took me an hour to get there, Goo. I missed the first 10 minutes of this movie.
You know what they say? Driving in Boston, it takes an hour to get from Boston to Boston.
Yeah. Took me an hour to go, like 6.7 miles. So I did miss the first 10 minutes of this film.
The first 10 minutes is so funny. The first scene is such a great open where there's 3 jokes in it that are all hilarious.
Billy told me I might have missed the best joke of the movie, but I was annoyed at first, but I was like, you know what? This is just an excuse to go see the movie in the theaters again. So I'm looking forward to seeing it again. And before we get into the gauntlet, once again, the only real way I can describe this movie is this is exactly what you wanted or expected as an I Think You Should Leave fan in the best possible way.
Yes. If you don't like that show, you're not going to like this movie.
Agreed.
Also, just to quickly go through that Mount Rushmore of cast members. You have 4 here. That's how many faces are on it's a rock in South Dakota?
There you go. Nailed it.
Where the 4 best presidents of all time
They
are
voted
on there. And so Tim Robinson, perfect for this role. It is written for him, and it is on point. It is awesome. Paul Rudd. So the last time that I saw Paul Rudd was in Death of a Unicorn. When I spoke about that movie, I said they misused Paul Rudd. This movie did not. This is the best type of Paul Rudd, and you understand why Robinson's character thinks he's the coolest fucking person in the world.
Yeah, and they do a really good job. We haven't even talked about this yet. There are clear references to I Think You Should Leave sketches and characters. There are also clear references to past Paul Rudd characters in this movie that I really liked as well.
Yes.
And we have spoken at length for years how much we love Paul Rudd. And so this is a little bit of a love letter to Paul Rudd as well. He's playing Brian Fantana to a certain degree.
It's that. It is Forgetting Sarah Marshall. It's that, like, it's the goofier version. It's the one from Wanderlust.
Yeah. I'm putting my dick in it.
When I think of Paul Rudd, I think of Wanderlust.
So the funniest 2 minutes of any movie in a while was that movie, in that movie, but that movie stinks.
Okay, so we have 2 podcast ideas right now. These are 2 rival podcast ideas.
Sure.
My idea was best swearers in movies. People that are the best at swearing. Your idea is best jokes in bad movies.
Yeah. Paul Rudd mirror scene, very near the top.
We're going to meet in the middle somewhere. Should we get to the gauntlet?
Yeah, good. Before you do that,
No.
do you want to compliment me and let the folks know about my sweet new backdrop here?
Okay,
right?
So Mac.
Give me a widescreen here for the folks at home.
Okay, so I'll do that in post. Mac right now has all of his pops on display. He has a nice shelf up.
I got some action figures. I got some Pokemans.
His Cadult office is looking fly right now.
And you nixed the Judio. We're not calling it the Judio?
I think we can think of something else. Someone tossed out something. Maybe like something with Mac, because you know how Mac is a company?
Like a Mac truck?
There's Mac Truck. There's the Apple. They have MacBook Pros.
Oh, right. That's
can
the
think
more popular.
like that.
That's the more popular Mac company.
Right. So there's that. So that was Mac's widescreen of his sweet, sweet office. Mac, you haven't complimented me yet on my shirt.
Oh, right. Yeah. Goo's wearing an Absolute Vodka Oscar the Grouch shirt. It says absolutely trashed on it.
And Oscar has red lines in his eyes. He's smoking something. I don't know.
Smoking the reefer.
And then on the back of the shirt, maybe I'll show you at the end of the episode. That's a tease for you to stick around. The trash can is tipped over and it says absolutely smashed.
So that was this week in Mac and Goo.
That's what we're doing right now. Should we get to the gauntlet now?
Let's do it.
Fun factor, Mac, this movie is my type of fun.
Staring at Tim Robinson reacting to things,
Yes.
I could do for days, years. It's very fun.
There is a scene in this movie with a bar of soap that I think, like, when it first happened, I was like, okay, that's all right.
They
The
cut
way
away.
that they let it keep on going
When they cut back to it and the soap's sideways, fucking
for
killed me.
roughly, they let him do this for roughly a minute. The way that they went back to him for this scene, I was cackling by the end.
I know my punishment.
I want your brown wall. Like, and we're not trying to make this podcast just all quoting and pointing
Yeah,
out the
I'm not going to
jokes,
remember half the quotes.
but oh my Lord. That's my something that starts out as not funny, but ends up being funny. That's what I want.
1000%. And there was several of them. They didn't overdo it with that though, but there were several of them.
Also, I had so much fun with the fact that in this movie, his character had one original idea, and it was at the end of the movie. Everything else, whether it be what he said, what he did, the locations that he brought his family, he didn't think of anything by himself. He just stole it from other people.
I laughed for 30 straight seconds when he told his son that's Cherry. Once he stole it, that's Cherry.
But also when he repeated that's Cherry several times to Paul Rudd.
That's Cherry?
And just the locations over and over again. He didn't think of anywhere new to go. It was just places that he went with Paul Rudd. And then when he finally had his own idea, he didn't know what to do.
Well, they were in the aqueduct. That's right, aqueduct. I said aqueduct. When they walked past the bat and his outright refusal to go back the other way to walk past the bat again was unbelievable.
Satisfactor. I'm so satisfied.
Very satisfying. And I was worried about the satisfactor for this movie because we've been hyping this up for a year plus. Ever since we heard this was announced, we've been looking for, like, this is essentially, I think you should leave a new season for it. So it's nice to not be disappointed by things you love. It's so rare that happens.
Borometer, no.
No, it's once again, like the quote unquote lulls of this movie are Tim reacting and thinking of stuff, and those are always great.
Or just him staring at things. Just awesome.
You guys kiss on the lips?
Aquater World, it is better than Waterworld.
Sure is.
Halloween, will this wane over time? I don't think it will. I think while my hot dog score will stay the same, I think that we're going to have new quotes, new jokes, everything else, just tossing it back and forth.
Yeah, it's gonna go up, I think. And I think my dog score might go up because I'm sort of afraid to start this too high. I don't know.
If I started at 45 hot dogs, I'm afraid that it won't get to 50.
Well, because I'm trying to think, right? You and I both have Sinners as the #1 movie on the year. And it's like, how the fuck do you compare this to Sinners?
I'll tell you right now, better than Sinners. I don't care. It's better than Sinners.
I think I have dog score wise. It is, but I feel weird saying
Not to tip my hand, it's the best movie of the year. And I think it should be considered for an Oscar.
Okay. All right.
Max Credit Union. Who are you giving credit to?
Oh, it's got to be Andrew DeYoung to be able to sell a major movie studio, which is now what A24 is, on an expanded version of probably a sketch or a small idea he had. The idea a suburban dad falls hard for his charismatic new neighbor, which you could have done in a 5-minute sketch, and they do it over 100 minutes, and it's so good. Massive credit to Andrew DeYoung.
Plemonade, for those of you who don't know who Jesse Plemons is, he shows up and he makes you say, wow, that guy is good. Who did that in this movie? And I think the answer, I keep on forgetting his name, it is Andrew O'Malley. Connor O'Malley, sorry.
Connor O'Malley. I forget the comedian's name. He is somewhat recognizable. And in the final scene of this movie, his name is Jimp. I fucking cried. I was laughing so hard. His 2 lines of dialogue were unbelievable.
I don't know, the line of, all right, let me end this with, we shouldn't have left Iraq.
No, we should still be in Afghanistan.
Still be in Afghanistan. Thank you. Was, oh my God.
It was so good.
Pants City. Excite Bike Mania. What got you going?
I think there are a couple great scenes throughout, but I honestly think the finale of this movie is the
Yes.
pants tent when it all comes together and you're not 100% sure how they're gonna land the plane. You just have an idea, but when he continues to do what he's doing at the end of the movie to
Yeah.
Austin, and then they have that moment from to it's fucking great.
So there's that. I'm going to bleep out a little bit what you just said. There is, he reacts twice. So he reacts to the cops once, and then he reacts in a similar way to a client. Both times fucking killed me.
I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Oh, he also.
This is everything from OVD, Ocean View Dining. They
I
even
don't-
have food.
I don't want to spoil things, but he goes on a trip. He goes on a drug fuse trip. And what we get out of that,
T-Boy, Toad Boy.
what he gets from T-Boy is like his trip is hilarious.
You know what? That scene is incredible. No,
You're
what did you
expecting
do?
this big
I ordered. That killed me. Also, the other when he's making the mushrooms and goes to wake Kate Mara up
Oh my god.
for a lick, that fucking killed me too.
Okay, he goes to do it and he's like, "You want a lick?" She's like, "Yeah." And then the son's like, "Something's burning in the kitchen." So he started cooking.
Yeah.
He's on a frying pan, mind you. He isn't boiling something. He's not doing like a slow roast. He's frying something. Goes upstairs.
And then when
Offers to lick, and then immediately there's something burning on this. Like, what? That sequence is so funny.
I'm gonna start using that terminology. And then when he comes out of the bedroom, he doesn't walk down the stairs. He jumps down the stairs and almost does like a heel click. That fucking killed me too.
For those of you tardy to the Mac and Goo party, we rate everything on a 40 hot dog rating system. Mac, this is a movie that feels like it is made specifically for you. Like it's something that only you will like, but there are many of us now. We do know this. Back when we were doing trivia, the I Think You Should Leave trivia was maybe the most popular people there-wise and also the most passionate of people there. So this is a good following of Tim Robinson people that love this type of humor, but you do feel like you own it. Like this is your movie. It's funny. It's funny from the get-go. There's several types of comedy here, but it does mostly hinge on the cringy, longer-lasting humor that Tim Robinson is able to give. The joke pacing is also great. There's at least something funny in every single scene. It is catered. It is written. It is directed for Tim Robinson. You get that type of humor. It has the perfect stupid ending. I love the ending of this movie so much. You can argue maybe there's a bit too much of the recycled jokes, recycled bits from I Think You Should Leave in here, but you're going to get that when it's someone's first starring role. I have this at 38 hot dogs.
Okay. Yeah, when I left the theater, Goo, I was thinking 37, 38. I have Sinners at 37 for reference. And then I really, really love the ending. And you know I'm a sucker for an ending. The end of a trilogy, I'm always a sucker for. And now just talking it out, that at the Subway, what did you do? I ordered. I've been laughing about that for a day straight. Man, I don't know if it's at 40 dogs. It might get to 40 dogs in the long run. I have a little trepidation scoring it that high. I'm going to go 39 hot dogs. Just one off, I think, from like my all-time favorite comedies, which I would give 40. I'm acknowledging, though, that it may get there. On rewatches, it honestly may get there.
I'm willing to say this might be a perfect comedy, but not for everybody.
Yeah, no, that's
For
true.
me.
That's true. It's exactly our style. And I thought about this last night, too. Like, I haven't bought a Blu-ray in years. I'll be buying this, like, because I will want to watch this on a loop. I want to show people this if they haven't seen it. So I am this. It's damn near 40 hot dogs. It's just below for me, and it's in the 24 hours since I've seen it. It's already gone up a dog or two. So
yeah, because
I'll settle on 39.
I left the theater like 35, 36, and in the 3 days since, I'm like, what is wrong with this?
What did you do?
Like,
I
I don't know. I think that everything is just like it's so well paced. It's so like it's so beat for beat things that I find funny, and I'm constantly
Oh
laughing
man,
at
did you?
days since seeing it.
What'd you trip? Did it feel like 15, 20 years? No, felt like a minute.
What'd you do? I ordered, and you got a sandwich that was just Black Forest ham
On
and an
Italian herbs and
Italian
cheese,
roll. Yeah,
not toasted.
yeah. It's so
Uh,
good. Also, not to get too far off the topic, but I think I've decided I might get back into some physical media. I might. I'm going to wait until Black Friday. On
okay.
that day, you can buy HD DVDs, Blu-rays, dirt cheap. I might pick up a couple just to put in there, just
Yeah.
in case my favorite movies go off certain platforms.
Well, honestly, like, and I still am a big fan of this. And you and I just like collecting things because we're fucking idiots. I mean, look
We
at
are
behind me
idiots.
here.
Yeah.
I think it's worth owning the 1 or 2 movies a year that you really loved and
Yeah.
starting your own like Criterion collection. I really do think that's worth doing.
Also, and not to get too far into like the technical side, but it looks way better and it sounds way better too.
No doubt. No doubt.
All right, shall we start spoiling?
Spoilers, spoilers,
Spoilers,
spoilers,
spoilers.
spoilers.
The opening scene is the perfect table setter for what
So this
you're
is
getting
what I
in the movie.
missed. I
Yeah.
missed because they bring it up later in the movie that there's cancer involved. So I missed the cancer, her
Yes.
beating cancer. I missed the first 8 to 10 minutes roughly.
Yeah, so Kate Mara is she still
Who's great, by
recovering?
the way.
Yes.
She's a great foil in this movie.
She's so soft-spoken. She's so, like, trying to help him,
Disappointed in him.
but also, like, the weird stuff with her ex-boyfriend, but you
Mhm.
can tell that she's kinda gone back to being his friend because Tim Robinson's character is so shitty.
Yeah.
But they're at a meeting for cancer survivors, and she's telling her story. She's talking about how, she wants to get a bigger car. That's the new thing that they want to do this year. And she's always in fear of the cancer coming back. And Robinson's first line of it is something like, "Yep, but it's gone." And he says it directly, like the way that he says it.
Yeah.
And then also she speaks about how she hasn't had an orgasm since the cancer. And then his next line is, "And I got no problem orgasming over here." So, like, that first scene is so funny and sets up the entire movie.
Yeah, so that's like maybe this gets bumped to 40 if they get the extra 10 minutes. Like I love this movie without that context.
Then we go to, and this is the and we saw most of these scenes in the trailers. Like the early stuff is in the trailers.
Yeah.
But the there's a new Marvel out this week. It's nuts.
It's supposed to be nuts.
Nuts.
And
And then for the rest of the movie, they don't say Marvel movies. They don't say Marvel characters. It's just, I look like a Marvel.
so good.
Going down into the sewers was
Yeah.
hilarious. He couldn't climb up that little wall. He's wearing his OVDs.
You got everything from OVD, Ocean View Dining. And then when he finally makes it up the wall and his shoes down there, his just like shakes his head. It's so
Yeah.
good.
So there's that. So him going into the sewers with Paul Rudd and then him going into that field with Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
He then does both of those things later on as like, oh, I'm going to do something cool. Like he repeats things that he does with Paul Rudd with other people. So the party after he tries to have his own party, he repeats things that Paul Rudd says to him that he thinks is cool. He buys a drum set because Paul Rudd plays punk rock. But the OVDs are his exact style. They fit him perfectly. Also, when he's in the field with Paul Rudd and he starts to sink.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh,
The way they shot that was awesome.
Yes.
That was fucking great. I loved that. And then that was the first instance he drops his phone. And Paul was right. Rudd was like, I don't have a phone. You don't have a phone?
And then he doesn't get a phone until he sees that
Yeah,
Paul Rudd has
that
another
running
phone.
bit the whole movie. Like he goes through like 5 phones in this movie. It was fucking perfect.
There's so I love this movie. So the party where he meets the new friends and then he loses the new friends immediately is so good. Where it's just like the little thing of like, because everyone's boxed with their friends,
Yeah.
and he takes it a little too far, and then he puts the soap in his mouth. I've been a
I
bad
know my
boy. I
I've been
know
a
my
bad
punishment.
boy.
And he just keeps on chewing on it for a minute.
when the soap's halfway in his mouth and it cuts to the guy's reacting and cuts back, when the soap's sideways in his mouth, I fucking lost it. And then he's doing a face too, and it's just sticking out of his cheek.
Also, oh my God, when they go through the sewer and then they go up through town hall and he starts smoking and then he does, meh.
Yeah. It was the perfect little nod. It was perfect.
Driving crooners. It's the best. He gets his drum set. He goes over to show Paul Rudd after Paul Rudd told him, hey, I think we should end this friendship. I don't.
Yeah.
He said it in like the nicest possible way.
He lets him down easy. And
Lets
then
him down easy.
the 8 seconds of Tim trying to control the drum set down the driveway was unbelievable physical comedy too.
They let that linger. Also, when he's deciding what drum set to get, he's like, what color should I get? I guess it doesn't matter, but
Yeah.
he has the drum set, and Paul Rudd's like, "Oh, you got the expensive ones, huh?"
And then, like you said, he copies them, has his own party later, and they're just sitting around talking about nothing. And they start talking about the new Marvel
free house. This is a Marvel free house. We don't spoil around here.
Yeah. And then he's banging on the drums, and he goes, "This guy's like Hulk." And that's it.
So he brings his son to the fields. They eat mushrooms there, or he eats mushrooms there. He throws up at the mall. He brings his wife into the sewer system. She gets lost for days.
And then we come to find out she had an orgasm finally in the sewer system.
But just from the thought of leaving him, that's what gave her the orgasm. And the entire time it's like, I need a bigger car. And it's been like trying to fit the flowers into the car.
And then Craig and Austin, Rudd and Tim, get arrested due to trespassing because of this whole search for the wife. And they're in jail. And this is like we get the scene that's going to tie everything up at the end. Rudd slips, his toupee, slips on piss, whose toupee falls off. And then when they cut back to Tim and he's just like, yeah, does it look
It's like, I don't see anything. So before we get to the ending, also before they get arrested in the sewer system, he's like, fucking pigs, fucking cops.
He called you pigs, you fucking pigs.
Also, in that first scene in the sewer system when they go through town hall and he gets startled by the
I thought it was a real guy.
Okay, so he goes on a trip after licking a toad.
Yeah,
he goes for 1 minute. He comes back and is like, that toad screwed. That toad is a scam or something like that.
Yeah, it's totally scammed me. And it cuts and you're expecting whatever you're expecting. It wasn't him in Subway ordering from an old Paul Rudd. And the character Paul Rudd's playing in that scene is so good. I know what you want.
And then we get, so his wife comes home after being stuck in the sewer system for days. And so Tim Robinson is in the back, like kind of playing the drums, just kind of sitting by himself. And Connor O'Malley goes back there. And you think that this might be the firefighter friend that she's been talking about the whole movie. He's just a random guy.
Yeah.
You should be dead. I don't even fucking know you.
And Tim gets up on
yelling at each other for 30 seconds.
Yeah. Then Tim gets up on the chair and invites everyone to speak. And once his wife starts speaking, like, all right, let's form a line by the sauces, the dishes over here. And then he's like, oh, let's have a parade. And then that's when Connor O'Malley gets up. Well, while I'm up here, we should still be in Afghanistan.
This might be 40 for us. This might be a bias Mac and Goo 40.
Yeah. It gets like a 2-dog bump or something just because it's exactly our style.
But something that if I'm speaking to someone and I'm not sure if they like him, I feel it out and I don't recommend it.
But I also, there is something sinister about the movie separate from the comedy. Like, there's a good story here about a guy trying to find friends, gets really jealous of his neighbor. Like, that's a good story in and of itself, separate from the comedy aspect. Like, this is just a good movie. And R-rated comedy goes, it's a 40 dogger, I think.
And then you think at the end he is going to make amends with his family, but you're waiting for something else to happen. He has a lovely night. I just bought a minivan.
I'm not afraid of you.
I'm not afraid of you. And then he's like, we gotta go.
What did I just do?
Immediately he puts his
hurry up, blow it out.
He immediately on a dime just switches back to being petrified. And he's like, we need to leave.
And they drive by Austin's yellow Corvette and you can see the wheels turning.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is gonna play into it.
So they're gonna watch the Marvel finally at the end. The family is getting back together. He's like, I need to go buy some candles. And at first, I'm like, is he gonna? Because the entire movie, they talk about the speed bumps.
Yeah, which was great.
Because it's not a racetrack.
Them showing him walking over the speed bumps on the way home every time killed me.
And I was like, is he going to go over a speed bump and fly onto the car? No, he's just going to go over there so he can stop. He does ruin the van that he got for his wife. And then when he goes in and he runs through the back, which also
the glass pane.
This also has a bit of a Michael Scott seasons 3 through 5. It's not as far, but it has a little Scott's tots to it.
Well, it has just a little bit of like Michael Scott's desire to be wanted and loved, right?
Yeah.
That like character trait is what this character has.
But also cringe-wise.
So they'll go to any length.
A little bit of Scott's tots to it.
Yeah, some of that, yeah.
So he ends up, he goes through the back, he sneaks in the house during a Paul Rudd party, and he gets some beers, and then, also he broke into the house early on, and he stole a gun.
Yeah, that's just... You knew that was going to pop back up at some point.
A golden gun.
Which the cops didn't search him when he went into jail.
I know, kind of weird. So he's in the house and he decides to hold up the house. And he's like, no one ever asked me about me. I'm really good at never have I evers. Ask me for a never have I ever. I don't know what that is. It's when you give scenarios and you need to decide which one you want to do. Like, would you rather do stand up for a year every day for your dad, or fuck, I can't think of anything else.
I'm so stressed right now. I can't think of anything.
All right, ask me about my favorite food.
Ask me.
All right, what's your favorite food? I don't know. So he's just freaking out the entire... That was his first original thought the entire movie, was to hold up the house of people that Paul Rudd had over.
And then finally he scans all the way to the left. And you're like, what? You got a new guy? Who the fuck is this guy? He goes, Jimp? He goes, Jim? He goes, no, it's like jump with an I. I fucking chimp.
So also, the entire time he's talking about this SEAL 6 meal.
Oh, yeah, the SEAL Team 6 meal. It's over 22,000 calories.
That's so funny. And while everyone is jumping on the floor after he shoots up into the air, Paul Rudd's toupee falls off again. And he keeps shooting up to make sure that everyone keeps their head down. And Paul Rudd is safe from his friends finding out that he has a toupee. And
that
then
right there is the movie, friendship. That's what
the friendship.
I'll get together right there.
And as he is walking, or as he looks out of the cop car, he looks over and Paul Rudd gives him a little bit of a smile and a wink. And he's like, we're friends. And he's happy. He's so happy at the end.
I also like that Rudd carried him out through the garage.
Like this, after he ran through another plate window.
It's so good.
It's a Mac and Goo 40.
Yeah, it's so good. I know it's our style anyways. If you listen to this podcast, yeah, it probably is close to 40. I was, again, was 37, 38 when I left the theater, woke up this morning. I was like, 38, 39, and talking it out, man. That subway scene's killing me.
I already know what it is. So Mac and Goo 40 asterisk. Asterisk? No, I said it right. Then here, asterisk, you might not like it.
Yeah, there you go. There's the byline.
Let's get into Maxac.
And Maxac could be anything it could be about. And Mac, I have recently joined the world of being a T-ball dad.
Wow. How's this going for you?
I am going to ask you because I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it's going for me. I clearly have the most talented kid in the league. And I need to ask you, am I being too much of a hardo? Let me explain what I've been doing.
Okay.
And so first off, number one, I only care about my kid on the field.
Of course.
No one else matters.
Well, you're not coaching the team.
I'm not coaching the team. I have but parents are supposed to be involved and try and keep all the kids in line.
Sure.
What I do is that when I play catch with my son, I look over and all the other parents are wearing gloves. And I'm like, what the fuck? These are 4-year-olds. Just catch the ball.
Yeah.
So I'm out there bare hand.
Sure. I mean, he could probably only throw the ball, 8 feet?
Every kid can. No one's out there hucking piss.
Right.
Although I will say that one time I was playing catch with my son and I threw it a little too hard and a little too high, hit him square in the face.
Yeah.
He then, with tears in his eyes, threw 3 of the best pitches I've ever seen trying to hit me.
You know, immediately sought revenge. I love that. Yeah. You know what his motivator is then.
Perfect follow through right at my face. And since then, and I'm not sure if the other parents like this, I'll say throw it at my nose.
Sure.
I'll record him hitting. And then when he finally gets all the way around the bases, I'll pull him off to the side and I'll show him the recording of him hitting, and I'll point out things that he did right and did wrong.
You want your launch angle here, but you were here.
All I care about is that he's swinging hard.
You just need a tee in your yard there with the ball tied to the tee. Let him keep hitting it, set it back up, keep hitting it, you know?
See, now here's the thing. I want him to see the ball flying out of the infield. I want him to get that visual in his head. Sure. So I'm more about, I have a tee, I have a bat, I have several balls. I bring him to a field and I just let him swing and let the ball fly.
You know what you can do is set up like some sort of plane on the bottom part of the tee so that he's naturally having to hit a little slight uppercut, you know, come through the zone with a slight uppercut. And that'll be good loft on the ball.
My main thing is that and it's cool. Other people can do whatever they want. When I bring him to a practice or a game, no matter what sport it is, I want him to, kind of focus on what he's doing. I want him to get something out of it, not just go there and play in the dirt.
No, I get it. And try to steer him away from hockey as much as you can because it's by far the most expensive sport.
He already plays hockey. We're going to do another learn to skate last year because the learn to skate that he did, I'm not sure if he even knows how to skate. He knows how to walk on ice.
I will be steering my hypothetical kids away from hockey. Basketball, football, baseball, much cheaper.
No, he'll be doing hockey. We're doing basketball next. He wants to do soccer again in the fall. We're doing hockey again after that. We're going to look for a flag football league so he can get the fundamentals of route running down.
I'm going to start golf early with my child, hypothetically.
Oh, he's asked about golfing several times. I should probably.
It's like it's just few and far between people that start golf early, and that is expensive too.
Although he kind of golfs. He gator golfs.
Yeah. All right. There you go. Sure.
He putts into the gator's mouth and it spits it back at him.
Yeah.
Because what could be greater than playing a game of golf with a gator?
With a gator.
Right. Gator golf. What was the other one? There was the gator. There was the alligator with teeth, and you were trying to be a dentist.
Oh yeah, and then I don't remember what it would chomp down on you. I think something like that.
Have I already told this story in the podcast that I bought my son Operation, and he was playing, or he was about to
water
play.
On the knee.
He held the tweezers, staring at the board for a minute, and then suddenly just he broke down crying.
Because he was so nervous
of getting zapped stressed him out way too much.
Yeah, I get that. That is a very stress-inducing game.
I had to take the batteries out. So now he's just fucking killing the operation patients.
Yeah, dead.
Just jamming the tweezers in there. All right, Mac, where can the people find us?
You can find us on Instagram and Twitter, X. At Mac and Goo Podcast, every other platform where Mac & Goo. It's Mac Shift 7 Goo. That includes Facebook, Stitcher, TuneIn, Castbox, Spreaker, Google Play, iHeartRadio. We're in Spotify, more importantly, Apple Podcasts. Get on there, rate, review, subscribe, 5 stars. If you do that, we'll get you a free Mac and Goo t-shirt from the folks over at Watertown Sportswear. Watertown Sportswear, 34 Mount Auburn Street, Watertown, Mass. WatertownSportswear.com, expert screen printing and embroidery.
tpublic.com. I was trying to cut a clip yesterday, and an hour into my work, I sat back and said, this thing fucking sucks. This stinks.
Sometimes you're your own worst critic, you know?
I think everything that I do stinks, though. I'm like, what is the point of what I'm doing?
I always remember Marcus of the now defunct Boxers podcast talking about like his 2 or 3 most popular like stingers or theme songs were the 2 or 3 he spent the least amount of time on, and that's really stuck with me, you know? Sometimes simple is best.
Go and follow us on TikTok.
Yeah,
I post once a month for the most part.
and please praise my new setup.
Oh, that's right. Oh, go on comment section. We're on YouTube. And say, "Hey Mac, looking cool."
Thanks.
Oh, actually, go on social media. Tell us how old you were the last time you made a friend.
Not bad. Not bad.
There we
Legit
go.
question. People are gonna think long and hard about that one. I bet it's been more than 4 or 5 years for most of our listeners.
Tuesdays or Goose Days, I abuse kangaroos. Tim Burton.
Bye.
Please flip the cassette over to side B to continue the adventure.
Now it's time for girls jumping on trampolines.